was too afraid to say. This tragic story we have been reporting on has now taken a turn for the ugly. At around 11:30 p.m. last Saturday night, Justine Damon, an Australian citizen, called the Minneapolis police to report a possible sexual assault being committed in an alleyway behind her house, and now she's dead. But what is even more outrageous is the fact that instead of the mayor of Minneapolis, Betsy Hodges, asking for an investigation, she stated that people who criticized the police officer involved in the shooting, who was the first Somalian Muslim to enter the police force, are racists. Even though it now appears like there was a bicyclist that witnessed the whole shooting, the grieving family is outraged after Officer Mohammed Nur's attorney actually called for an autopsy of the victim to see if she was on drugs. Which drug is he accusing the Damon of being under the influence of, you might ask? Ambien. Damon's family struck back against the disgusting claim. Via the Daily Mail, the lawyer for Officer Mohammed Nur, Tom Plunkett, caused controversy for reportedly asking for a review into Justine Damon's autopsy report to see if she had taken sleeping pills. Ms. Damon's devastated family has slammed the move and declared the 40-year-old bride-to-be would never have taken drugs, News Corp reported. It was absolutely sickening, and that it's the game these lawyers play, to try to attack the victim, family spokesman Tom Hyder said. Justine was someone who only ate organic, she watched everything she ever put into her body. The lawyer then tried to walk his statement back. On Thursday, Mr. Plunkett told CBS he would like a second lab to examine the results of the autopsy on Ms. Damon because it would be nice to know if there were some Ambien in her system, but he later told App it was a total misquote. There is a dead Australian citizen who has never had any issue with law enforcement before, and this hack mayor of Minneapolis, Betsy Hodges, who is clearly afraid of the Somali community, is now worried about some kind of phobia, and the Muslim cop's lawyer is saying the murdered woman was on drugs. They are trying to avoid the obvious, which is the fact that this particular officer has had multiple complaints against the way he has treated women during his 2 short years in the force. Hodges needs to resign, and the lawyer should apologize to the family. Star Tribune reports. What we know about Mohammed Nur, Minneapolis officer who fatally shot Justine Damon. After changing careers to join the Minneapolis Police Department in 2015, Mohammed Nur was lauded by the mayor and his fellow Somalis as a welcome addition to the force. I want to take a moment to recognize Officer Mohammed Nur, the newest Somali officer in the Minneapolis Police Department, Mayor Betsy Hodges posted on Facebook last year. Officer Nur has been assigned to the 5th Precinct, where his arrival has been highly celebrated, particularly by the Somali community in and around Carmel Mall. Nur, 31, who has 2 active complaints against him in his police file, is one of 9 Somali officers in the department, and he became the first to patrol the 5th Precinct in the city's southwest neighborhoods. He worked the middle watch evening shift, and on Monday went from one of hundreds of the city's anonymous beat cops to the latest officer embroiled in controversy after the fatal shooting of 40-year-old Justine Damon, an unarmed civilian, in her South Minneapolis alley after she called 911 to report a possible crime. The Somali American Police Association, of which Nur is a member, declined to comment, as did Minneapolis Police Federation President Lieutenant Bob Kroll. Both said they are waiting for the State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to complete its investigation. Thomas Plunkett, Nur's attorney, said Monday that the officer extends his condolences to the family and anyone else who has been touched by this event. He takes their loss seriously and keeps them in his daily thoughts and prayers. He came to the United States at a young age and is thankful to have had so many opportunities, Plunkett said in the statement. He takes these events very seriously because, for him, being a police officer is a calling. Meanwhile, some Somali residents who knew the officer are scrambling to understand what happened. Others chose to remain silent, wary that the incident could shed a negative light on the state's Somali population. Some Adalat said he did not know Nur personally but saw him at community events. The first time he met Nur was 6 months ago at a soccer tournament in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood where Nur and other officers were patrolling. Olat described Nur as a kind, fair person who cares about protecting citizens. "I feel sad," Olat said. "As a community, we love members of our community who serve in the police." Abdikadir Hassan, a candidate for the park board seat in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood, said Nur was considered a role model. "He is inspiring to young people in the community," Hassan said. "He is very supportive and good with the kids. He is such a lovely guy." Nur holds a degree in business administration, management and economics from Augsburg College. Before joining the department, he worked in commercial and residential property management in Minneapolis and St. Louis, and was general manager of a hotel in Eden Prairie. According to the Office of Police Conduct Review, Nur has had 3 complaints filed against him, 2 of which remain open. Another was closed without discipline. Nur has been sued once in his short career with the police department, stemming from an incident on May 25 in which he and 2 other officers went to a woman's home and took her to a hospital, which the woman alleges constituted false imprisonment, assault and battery. According to the ongoing lawsuit, the officers claimed they had reason to believe the woman was suffering a mental health crisis, which she denied, and Nur grabbed her right wrist and upper arm, exacerbating a previous shoulder injury in the process. Plunkett said in a statement that the current environment for police is difficult, but Nur accepted it as part of his calling. "The officer is a caring person with the family he loves, and he empathizes with the loss others are experiencing," he said. Divorce documents filed in December describe Nur as a caring, involved father who was at times consumed by the demands of his job. His mother often watched Nur's son while he was at work. They spoke Somali at home, but Nur insisted that English be his son's first language. An evaluator sent to observe Nur interacting with his son concluded that he never raised his voice and that his even keel and calm demeanor may have ultimately been responsible for calming the agitated child down. 6th Ward City Council candidate Mahmoud Noor, who is unrelated to the officer, said the community is doubly shaken because this is another officer-involved shooting and the officer is a member of the Somali community. "People are shocked because of the tragedy of the killing that took place," Mahmoud Noor said. "This should be treated as a police-civilian issue. There is a loss of life and we're always concerned. We believe the police should be held accountable as any other police shooting." Somali activist Omar Jamal, who knew Mohammed Nur from group breakfasts and community meetings, said he is waiting for facts to emerge. "We don't know what went wrong or what happened," he said. "But becoming an officer was a dream come true. Not only was it symbolic to become a member of the force, but confirmation of being part of the United States." Minneapolis was a very beautiful and safe city in the late 80s. But sadly in the early 90s a few local self-hating politicians thought it was too white. So instead of inviting a more diverse culture, they decided to flood the area with Muslims from the cesspool that is Somalia. Because of this, 25 years later, the city is now a cesspool itself. A cesspool of crime and pestilence, where most want Sharia law. I wonder how much money those politicians got for doing this.